So just using the imagination a little bit, but so here we are on this earth, right? And the farmer, oh, don't talk to me about anything deeply philosophical. I want to plant my corn crop. And so, farmer in this hypothetical situation, not necessarily concerning themselves with anything deeply philosophical. I'm just going to plant the corn. I'm going to cultivate the corn. I'm going to let the corn grow and make sure it's watered, make sure the weeds are out and the pests are out and the deer are out. And then it's going to ripen. Hopefully, theoretically, it's going to ripen because if you plant corn, you're going to get corn, not radishes, right? And so I got my corn. All right, then we harvest the corn and etc. And that's some basic storyline for human existence. Insert anything. Intention, that intention develops, that intention ripens, that intention is harvested. We manifest that intention. We try to make sense out of the whole story. There's all of astrology. And so projecting that onto the planets now. Well, how does Venus, why is that about relationship? And Mars, why is that about protection, defense, and courage? Well, here's where it comes that we humans are just so awesome and beautiful and crazy and have a lot to learn, but we are conscious co-creators in this universe. And there's a whole bunch of Bible quotes. As one speaketh in their heart, so is he. By our words we will be justified, and our words we will be condemned, which basically has now come up to the basic law of quantum physics, where the observer has an effect on that which is observed. And so if we just look at that principle, we peel away the layers of that, what we see is that our intention and our projections of our intention find its way into the three-dimensional world, and then either by happenstance or synchronicity or some divine or cosmic law, it's reflected back to us. That's what we've done with the planets, where we have an understanding of what's happening on this planet and the rhythm and the cycle of the seasons. And then somewhere along the line, I don't know, 20, 40, 120, 200, you name it, 1,000 years ago, we started saying, oh, wow, what's up there? We're seeing what's happening down here. Well, what's up there? Welcome to the Hermetic principle is as above, so below, which I believe my understanding is more like as below, so above. And so we started as meaning-making machines, as storytellers who began telling stories about how to you know, follow the herd, or how to survive through winter, or the original stories of these are the best places, microclimates to find the raspberries. Those stories became, well, this is how we survive and this is how we be happy. And those stories that percolated up from our seasonal engagements became the myth of saying, okay, well, here we are, and we've got this understanding of how to live in this three-dimensional world, but what about our more spiritual, creative selves? We started saying, what does it all mean? In fact, we started seeing, and here it comes, we started seeing blessings to you women. You knew it a lot earlier than us chest beating men did, that oh, wow, there's some interconnection between the moon and the woman. Whoa! What do we men have? We don't cycle in concert and rhythm with this thing outside of the planet. Oh my gosh, that's divine. Welcome to the birth of matriarchy and the matriarchal religions. And why not? Because of the interconnectedness between the moon and the woman. We held that as sacred. Wow. Oh my gosh. What else is out there? And so we began projecting this stuff onto the moon. Well, what's the woman doing? Magic babies come out of them. At the time, we may not have known how that happened. That's divine. Whoa, moon, divine. The woman gives life. The moon, the life giver on this planet. Whoa, beautiful. The raspberries are here thanks to the moon. Whoa, welcome to the beginning of sacredness. And hopefully that for most of us, that sacredness continues, right? And so, wow. Now here it comes. That's how astrology began. What else is out there? Moon, woman, moon, magic babies come out of them. They're amazing cooks. Oh my God, let me go kill a chest beating male. Let me go kill the wild beast and bring it home so I can protect and nourish and defend my growing family and the tribe, etc. Sacredness. So we began projecting meaning onto that which we see in the night sky. Well, we also saw in the sun, and the sun going Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, and that rhythm gave us the seasons in concert with the rhythms of the moon. We eventually learned that we could plant raspberries in rows, and we didn't have to go hunt the wild goats. We could put fences around them. Benefits and liabilities to that one, because then as we projected all this energy and information onto the sun, hey, we could start controlling our life. We could dominate and control nature. Welcome to the birth of patriarchy and the solar male religions. Lest I digress too much into that conversation, to your question, we started saying, okay, what else is out there? And we started looking and seeing that the backdrop of these what we call stars was a little different in the movements of what we ended up calling planets. But before we called them planets, before we knew that they were planets, guess what they were? Gods. And so tell me, is that a lot of weight to call something a god? You betcha. So we had all of this collective intention that we projected onto the movements of these things that we saw in the night sky that we eventually, or after a while, said were like controlling us or had a role in our life and development. So what did we do? We took everything that we knew about nature, about the seasons, about the two stages, summer and winter, and then the other two stages, spring and autumn, and then the cross quarter days, halfway in between the solstices and equinoxes, and then did a little math and said there's like a beginning and a middle and an end in these four seasons. And that cross quarter day happens right in between. Okay, well, there's 12 seasons there. What is out there? Let's project what we know about what's going on in the earth in these seasons. Let's project it out there. Well, here's just again, 7-day lecture. I'll be very quick here. Oh, look at that one. It's going around the sun. And if the sun is our spirit, our life energy, everything revolves around it. But here's this thing closest to it. It must be connected to or conversing with or communicating with spirit. Boom, projection, Mercury, the communicator of that which communicates with spirit. Where do we find that communication? We find that in Gemini season, when the plants, after finding their stability and their growth in Taurus, begin to branch out and get curious about which new direction to grow. Projection, Mercury. Lastly, and use the simplest one so as to not again have this devolve into that 7-day lecture. Mars, it's red. That's fire and that's blood. Well, that's an easy projection. That's the heat, and that's what happens when spring comes. The heat starts to take over. Let's project that onto Mars. And basically, to answer your question in the simplest sentence, through quantum physics, where the observer has an effect on that which it observes through its conscious or unconscious projection of energy, intention, information, and imagination, it's reflected back to us.